What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about the Saw franchise in this video here today because we got a bombshell out of nowhere announcement to close the day, because Deadline is reporting Blumhouse, of all people, of all companies, is acquiring the Saw rights from Twisted Pictures in a deal that will bring James Wan back in touch with the mega horror IP he created. We hear from several sources that Blumhouse is acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures' portion of the Saw franchise. In short, Blumhouse essentially is taking over the IP's ownership from Twisted's Mark Berg and Oren Coles, who we know those two have been allegedly involved in some sort of behind-the-scenes disagreement spat that brought the 11th film to a standstill or stalemate. Lionsgate will continue to be involved as a partner and, in fact, owns 50% of the franchise. As of this time, there isn't development on another movie yet. Wan directed the first Saw movie in 2004 and co-wrote with Lee Winnell. Wan remained an executive producer on the remaining Saw movies. Goes on to talk about how Saw follows the notorious serial killer Jigsaw, John Kramer, and his cronies. Instead of killing his victims, he traps them in life-threatening tests and games as they try to survive through physical or psychological torture. The Saw franchise not only grossed over $1 billion at the global box office from 10 movies, but spawned comic books, video games, theme park attractions, toys, masks, and clothing. It says here, there was a Saw 11 in development that was previously scheduled for September 2025. However, the project was stalled. Lionsgate and the franchise producers didn't see eye to eye on the 11th movie. Saw 11 scribes Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan had turned in a draft in 2024 with Saw X director Kevin Greutert attached to direct. His 2023 version opened to $18.3 million domestically, finaled at $53.6 million stateside, and went north of $112 million global. So, I think this explains the LinkedIn profile for Billy the Puppet, because this deal obviously did not just happen overnight, since this kind of news with all these moving parts has got to have been in the works for some time. They did not just do this today. This explains the LinkedIn profile, and if I were to bet, I would bet that James Wan is going to direct the next Saw movie. That's my bold prediction. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's fine. The most exciting part about this news was James Wan, for me. Him being in charge creatively of this IP again, going forward, which we know is thanks to his company Atomic Monster having partnership with Blumhouse. So that's the W here. I get that there are some naysayers already about this because of what Blumhouse has done recently with Five Nights at Freddy. I myself do not like what they just did with their first movie. Granted, they are saying that they heard the feedback and they're applying it to the second film and it will be scarier. Do not like what they did with The Exorcist, Believer. Disgusting movie. Do not like what they started to do with Halloween. After the 2018 film, while I can enjoy and watch Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, each one was a diminishing return in terms of quality. That 2018 film, I think, is the best out of the trilogy. Obviously, I know everybody out there will have a different opinion, but it seems like the general consensus is that the 2018 film was their strong point, and everything else was just a lackluster return, which actually that aligns with how my reviews went. It went from high to kind of just lows, but I still enjoy that trilogy. So we have our reservations as to why we don't want Blumhouse involved with another iconic existing IP because of how they've been handling some of the other IPs they've acquired. And Viewer Anon put out something that is also a little bit more concerning to people who are looking forward to seeing Tobin Bell's story continue. Of course, he plays John Kramer. Viewer Anon tweeted this. Not that this is confirmed, but Viewer Anon has been very reliable and trustworthy in the past. Viewer Anon states, I suspect that this is the official end of classic Saw and Tobin's run. James Wan has been clear to people if he's involved again, he wants to do a total reboot. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't shock me because there was a time last year, I believe, when asked if he would direct a Saw movie again, he didn't completely write it off, but he said it would have to be something really special. He's not interested in doing the same thing over again. Granted, of course, things could have changed between those comments and where we are now. He might give in to fanfare and what the public is crying for, which is another John Kramer movie building off of Saw X. Here's the other harsh reality that I will dish out, just like I dished it out when it comes to I Know What You Did Last Summer, just like I will dish it out when it comes to Scream. Most people, they are not going to care if Tobin Bell is not in Saw 11 whenever it gets made. You know why that is? Because the general public, they are just going to see a trailer, something that has the title Saw, and they will show up for it. I'm not saying that Tobin Bell isn't a draw. Tobin Bell, John Kramer, is in fact a draw for this franchise. He is the heart of the franchise. There is no denying that. But if you produce these movies with a reasonable budget, market them well, and tell a compelling narrative still set within the Saw universe, and as iconic as Saw has gotten over these last 20 years and how big the fan base is, this franchise can and will thrive without John Kramer. John Kramer's death in the third film, many would argue, was their biggest mistake, because they've been trying to make up for it, you could argue, with this latest revival that started all the way back in, what was that, 2017 when Jigsaw came out? I might be a year off or two. They've been trying to just make up for it, make up for the mistake of killing John Kramer in Saw 3 and then continuing the franchise on. And now you're at this point where Tobin is up in age. Yes, people would love to see him back for Saw 11. I get that. I myself wouldn't mind seeing Tobin back. But I think it's time you do start venturing out into reboot territory, or finding someone who can replace John Kramer and carry on the franchise in a compelling way. That's all you have to do. And the general public, for the most part, if it is well written, well acted, and has all the same familiar beats of a John Kramer, and just in general what the Saw franchise has been popularized for when it comes to those traps and those deaths, if it has all of that, the Saw franchise will be fine. I get that people want to see Tobin Bell back all the time, but Tobin Bell's not going to be back all the time. And James Wan being involved creatively, if he is the one overseeing it, I would trust that a Saw film without John Kramer, with him back at the helm, if he's directing it, because I again, that's my bold prediction, he will direct it. If he's not directing it, at least with the guidance of James Wan, I would hope that we get a film that is competent, even if John Kramer is not at the center of it anymore. John Kramer cannot be at the center of this franchise for the foreseeable future. He just can't. And obviously, they're trying to keep this IP alive and well for the foreseeable future, and you're not going to get that with Tobin Bell. You're just not. And if you can't accept that reality, you're in for a whirlwind of hard truths when they start making Saw movies that do not have John Kramer. They've already done it once before, and they will do it again. I'm not saying they will be good movies, but be prepared. Because if that's what James Wan wants to do, he's going to do it if he's given that green light to do it. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications, and name this video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there are any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.